but then lost the next election. He is now the Australian ambassador to the United States, and I don't think he gets on very well with your president.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing because we want good relations between Australia and the United States, without a doubt.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a fantastic book. It is called Tales of the Oldest Profession, as told by a very common lawyer. It is written by a terrific author. His name is Kevin O'Donnell, and he offers a witty and eye-opening look at the colorful world of law through the lens of a seasoned Australian solicitor. Drawing from over 4 decades of experience, O'Donnell shares remarkable and sometimes unbelievable true stories that reveal humor, humanity, and absurdity behind the legal profession. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at 7 Chapter Literary for helping us put him on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Good morning, Logan, or good afternoon your time, or as Australians might say, g'day.
Good day, sir. Good day, mate. Let me ask you this, sir. The title is great, The Oldest Profession. I was like, aha, a book on prostitution. But of course, that's not the case. It's a book on being a solicitor and law. Tell us why you chose the title.
Well, the oldest profession, in my view, the one that's commonly held to be the oldest profession, I don't think is. Go back to the very earliest societies when people lived in caves. There had to be somebody to establish the rules by which they lived and interpret the rules and tell the people what they were. And that, to my mind, is the early function of a lawyer.
Yeah. Gotcha. So even way back when, there were lawyers on the horizon.
Even before the other one came along.
Exactly. So when one caveman hit the other caveman, there was a lawyer there to intervene and maybe sue the other caveman. No, I'm only teasing, of course.
Well,
but you never know.
Put him in his place anyway, yes.
You put 43 years of experience into this memoir. Is there one story that you'd like to share with us that really stands out?
Well, one that I like is an occasion when I had a couple of other lawyer friends come for dinner, and one of them had recently given up smoking, and we'd had a few drinks, and then after the main course, he decided he needed to go and buy some smoke. So he got in his car and off he went. Being a bit careless, having had a few drinks, he didn't wear his seatbelt. A young, keen police officer saw him, pulled him over about the seatbelt, noticed that he'd been drinking, and all of a sudden he was at the police station contemplating what is known as the breathalyzer, which is an instrument that analyzes the alcohol in one's breath. And he rang me, this was only a couple of minutes after he left home, he rang me just to tell me what was going on. So I said, don't move. So I rang a cab, not wanting to be in the same position myself, got to the police station quickly because I suspected that his alcohol content would be nearly enough for him to lose his license, or probably more than enough. But we had to get him onto the machine before the last drink he had got into his blood system. So I get to the police station and rush in and say, "Here, I'm here to see Mr. So-and-so." "Oh, yes, sir, he's being breathalyzed. Take a seat, he won't be long." "No, I'm his lawyer. I demand to see him now." So I rush in, grab him, tell him that we need to get on straight away. And the police were saying, "Oh, no, we have to wait." No, we waive all that, put him on now. So they put him on. And the police sergeant, whom I knew, and was a decent fellow, he paused for a few moments and then he announced, "What would you think of .045? Now, .045 is just under the limit of .05, so he was okay. So the young policeman wrote out a ticket for his not wearing a seatbelt. He got a certificate about his reading, and then said, "Come on, you can take me home." And I said, "Rubbish! You've got a certificate that says you're under .05. I haven't." So he drove home. We walked in, told the people what had happened. We hadn't been away more than half an hour, and they didn't believe us until he produced his certificate and his ticket. So we then proceeded to have a good night.
Amazing, amazing. That's one of the many stories you tell. Another story involves a lawyer who is found dead in a hotel room in Thailand. Uh,
Yes,
Tell
yes.
us about that one.
Well, this was a lawyer on a significant firm. He was one of the partners, and he was very much telling people, "Well, I can save you. You don't have to pay tax." So wealthy people who didn't like to pay tax invested money with his firm, and he had bogus certificates and photos about all the infrastructure projects that their money was being invested in tax-free benefits. But he was siphoning that money off to a separate trust account from that of his firm, and he went off to Thailand. He kept going off to Thailand on business ventures, so-called, looking after these clients' money, and he never came back. He was found dead in a hotel room in Thailand. The money was tens of millions of dollars was never traced. The law firm was sued. It wasn't able to claim on its professional negligence policy because this wasn't negligence, it was fraud. And the firm went bust.
Wow.
Lots of partners went bankrupt. And some lost their houses. Those who had looked after their own affairs didn't, but because they were all in their wives' names or whatever. But those partners of that law firm finished up working for other firms.
Amazing, amazing. That is one of the many unbelievable stories in your book. You have other books as well. McRudd is one of them. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
McRudd is a political satire. It's written as a play, based in some respects on Macbeth. One of the main characters is a Mr. Rudd, hence Mac Rudd, who was Prime Minister of Australia. He was overthrown by members of his own party. He plotted and gained revenge on those who overthrew him, but then lost the next election. He is now the Australian ambassador to the United States, and I don't think he gets on very well with your president.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing because we want good relations between Australia and the United States, without a doubt. That's wonderful. And your other book is called Hostage, is it?
It is called Hostage. It's about the main character is a youngish lawyer who's widowed, who has thrown himself into his work, working very long hours, no life other than his work. And one morning at about 10 o'clock, after he's been there for several hours and clocked up lots of time units, lawyers sometimes just charge by the hour, as you know, and some of them are at a pretty high rate per hour. He's in his office working away when his secretary rushes in to tell him that there's a gunman at reception, and he said, "Yeah, incoming players. I know. Yeah. No, it's real. It's real. I saw him. He's got a gun." So he decides to take it on himself to go out to the reception area and confront the gunman, get the receptionist out of the way, and see if he can deal with the problem. The problem is compounded by the fact that having got all the other people in the firm out of the office and into safe territory, there are those in some authority in the firm who want to send the police in shooting. He doesn't want that because he's worried about his own life. He has them to contend with as well as the gunman, but he diffuses the situation with the assistance of the television in the reception area, which is focused on a news program. The news program gets wind of what's going on, and start relating the story so far as they're aware of it. And he and the gunman established contact with the radio station and the television station, and they're on TV. And he eventually diffuses the situation, goes for TV interviews, meets a TV presenter who is a very attractive young lady, and things go from there until she is later abducted by a former boyfriend of hers, and he has to go and rescue her. So there are a few twists and turns in that to try and keep the viewers interested.
That sounds great. That almost sounds like it could be a film. Have you envisioned that one as a movie?
I think that of the three of them, that is the most likely to be a movie, yes.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
a car chase in it, of course, as well.
Yeah, okay, great.
Obligatory car chase, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has so many cinematic overtones. It's a compelling story. And yeah, so Hollywood, if you're listening, here's a book called Hostage that is ready to be turned into a film. I think it'd be wonderful. In your book, The Oldest Profession, you talk about mentoring young lawyers as part of your work in your later years of your career. How did you enjoy that? What lessons did you hope to pass on to the next generation of solicitors?
One, to keep calm under pressure.
Mhm.
Two, to take a minute and stop and think about the ramifications of what's going on. Three, to advise the client, but not to control the client or try to control the client. Four, to write clearly, and generally to learn all the ins and outs of what the legal profession is about. It's not always about confrontation. You have to compromise sometimes. I did a lot of commercial negotiations with various public companies, and there were people who did not know how to negotiate. One of my clients, I had dealings with a fellow on the other side a few times who was involved in huge signs, placards by the side of the road, advertising various products and services. And this fellow was extremely difficult to deal with. If he didn't get his way, he would hang up or abuse you. So he eventually lost his job. And he was then applying for a job with one of my clients. And the head honchos asked me what I thought about him. And I said, well, your company has a reputation for being straight and reasonable to deal with. This fellow, I told him about him, and I said, he's not reasonable to deal with. I don't think he would be a good fit, so he didn't get the job. He never knew about that, but it's sort of like the movie The Sting, where the Robert Redford and Paul Newman characters relieved the bad guy of a lot of money without him even knowing what had happened. And I felt there's a certain justification there.
Yeah,
Absolutely. There was another lawyer I knew who was always extremely difficult to deal with. He argued about everything. And he owned his own premises, but he put the premises up for sale with the lease back to him. The contract of sale was very much in his favour as vendor, and the lease was very much in his favour as tenant. Now, I had an accountant who would bring clients to me from time to time to say, this client, I've got a deal for him about, he's going to buy this in this lawyer's office. I need you to look at the documents. Well, I told the accountant about this lawyer and how difficult he was to deal with and how he would be fighting with him every day. And this was the client who was looking for a risk-free passive investment, who did not want to be fighting with his tenant all the time. So he didn't get that sale either. So I like to think that it's appropriate to get a bit of revenge on somebody, even if he doesn't know that you're doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's wonderful. That is one of the wonderful tales from Tales of the Oldest Profession, as told by a very common lawyer. His name is Kevin O'Donnell. He's written a book that is completely not common. It's very witty, it's very eye-opening, and it's a wonderful look at the colorful world of law through the lens of a seasoned Australian solicitor. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us here today. I truly enjoyed your stories and this wonderful book.
Thank you very much, Logan. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.